On the 7th of July 2012, we'll be opening to the public a commission from the Warr Pavilion titled "Hang on a minute, lads, I've got a great idea." It's a famous quote from a film, The Italian Job, made in the late 60s, and comprises, in this instance, one coach on the Warr Pavilion roof. It's actually a follow-on from an invitation from the late Alan Hayden, the previous director, for a rooftop commission. The first one went to Anthony Gormley, I've forgotten when, a couple of years ago. And it's not that this was to be an annual event, but this was going to be something to be repeated one day. So we're here ready to install the second rooftop commission. And it won't be out on the flat plaza area where Anthony's works were positioned, but up on the very top of the roof, and will oversee the car park. And it will be a 36-foot long coach, a reproduction of the Harrington Legionnaire coach that was produced locally or nearby in Brighton in the 50s and 60s. Well, what you can see is the coach as a maquette teetering on the edge of the building, on the edge of the roof, and it looks quite simple, but in actual fact it's been quite an engineering feat. Number one, this direction is seaward, and you get quite a blast of wind coming off the water along this part of the coastline. So we've had to really consider how that coach, which is rather like a kite up there, is going to take that whack of wind throughout the period of the exhibition, running from early July through till October. So given last year's weather, we're expecting some bad weather. And as you can see, in order to allow this to move, there's only one anchor point, which is right at that fulcrum where the thing is actually pivoting. You can't lock it down anywhere else, otherwise it wouldn't rock. So the basic concept is that you build a chassis which runs across the roof and is actually anchored into the building. We've gained permission for that, so we're using 4 of the steels that will be exposed, and we bolt down into those. Then onto that kind of ladder structure, which I call the chassis, locates all the hydraulic mechanisms which will be pushing and pulling the coach. So in fact it's forcing the coach to do a kind of an almost opposite push-up or press-up. It's pushing like that, but it's pushing the coach up and down. And it's pushing another chassis which the coach is actually built on. So you've got one chassis running through here, 2 hydraulic rams pushing here and here, onto another chassis which is hinged onto this one. So you kind of triangulate. As I say, we're probably looking at about 6.5 tonne in total, 7 tonne on the roof to hold the thing down so we don't get blown away. And the coach is simply made from, as I say, the chassis, a set of 6 wheels, or 8 wheels actually, 2 on the back either side, and then 4 at the front. I've actually gone and bought the same tyre size as the old coach used to have, and they're being cast up in fiberglass, and they will be attached onto made-up temporary axles that sit onto the chassis. Then there's a framework in steel that boxes out the basic shape of the coach. Then that is clad in plywood and foamed out as well on some of the elaborate detail. And then all the trim is put on in either aluminium trim or in wood trim. And then the whole thing is fiberglassed and then painted. So we've got a waterproof and coherent structure which is united by this one membrane or skin of fiberglass to make it weatherproof, as I say.